Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to create a LoRa, how to train a LoRa for the latest WAN 2.1 model released by Alibaba. So I have already created two other videos on my channel to how to use WAN 2.1 on ComfyUI. You can head to the channel and watch it, and for the similar content make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. So without any further ado, let's start the video. So I'm going to use Diffusion-Pipe to fine tune, and the process will be very similar if you want to fine tune SDXL, Flux, LTX, Neon, Cosmos, Lumina, and similarly WAN 2.1, which we are going to do. You can follow this guide if you want to fine tune any of the models I told you. The process will be real simple. Or if you want me to fine tune any of these models, let me know in the comment section. Now for fine tuning, we of course need a compute power, and my laptop is Mac M1 with 8 GB of memory, which definitely will not be able to handle all of this. So for that, I'm going to use RunPod. Now the other thing you need for fine tuning is the dataset. Now for the dataset, you can have 10 to 15, or I think 7 or 8 images will also going to be working fine, and they have to be in this format, image1.jpg or whatever name you want to give it. Plus, with that same name, for example, I used image1.jpg, I should have image1.txt. If you used abcd.jpg, you should have abcd.txt. Now, what this txt file should have will be the prompt to the image. For example, here in my dataset, I have this image, which is image7.jpg. For that corresponding, I should have a image7.txt, which should explain this image. Now, while creating the prompt, I would recommend you to not to create really big, not to create really short, just keep it in the mid. Explain what's going on in the image, explain what your character or the model is wearing, explain what is happening on the background, what is happening in the background, where his hands are, what action he is performing, and make sure you add a trigger word. For example, I used PA2AN. You can use something similar, and if you don't use this, your model you are going to struggle a lot for generation. Make sure this is super important to use a trigger word. It can be anything, but make sure it is really different so that it is not already known to the model. So also, if you use trigger word like pa2an, you should use the same trigger word in every txt. So pa2an, and the prompt, the txt file, the prompt structure should be kind of matching, kind of similar. If you're using chat gpt or something else to generate the prompt, make sure you read it once before uploading all the files, before fine-tuning the model. So because a lot of time will be wasted if you don't provide enough time to the dataset. So with that said, you should have the dataset something like this. Now I'm going to use 10 images and 10 txt file, and you should have clear idea how the model is going to perform. Now I'm going to create a LoRa of my own, and this video is totally for educational purpose. Do not create someone else's LoRa without their permission. That's why I'm creating my own. So back to the RunPod, I'm going to use RunPod for the hardware. My laptop is not strong, powerful enough. I'm going to create a community cloud. So if you are also running this on RunPod, you can click on pods, you can click on deploy, and we will be using community cloud. Now for the fine tuning, on the safe side, let's use A6000, which is going to cost 44 cents an hour, and it's going to provide us 48 GB of VRAM and 62 GB of RAM. And for this video, I'll be fine tuning 1.3 billion model. And for that, I think A5000 would also be good enough, but let's just go with this one. And I'm going to show you the resources it is using, the memory and the RAM and the CPU it is using, so that you have the idea how much or what pod you will be going with. Now for the template, I'm going to use the different one this time. So I'll be using better ComfyUI CUDA 12 full. I would recommend you to do the same. It has the VS Code installed in it. Things will be a lot easier if you choose this template. I'm going to edit the template to have a little bit of more space. 100 GB of space would be enough. With that, I'll just click on deploy on demand. I'll go back to my pods, and this time it's going to take a little bit of 2 to 3 minutes to set up. All right, it is set up. I'm going to click on connect, and if you click on HTTP service at 7777, it is going to open the VS Code for you. Now we are here. We need to install the Diffusion-Pipe. For that, we need to open the terminal. For the terminal, you can click on over here, and it is going to open the terminal for you. Now in order to install the Diffusion-Pipe, I'll just copy the link from here by clicking on the code and copy it. Let's get back to the VS Code we just ran by using the RunPod VS Code. For installing, you can say git clone, or I would rather just copy the command provided over here, recursive submodule. Just copy this command. I'll just clear it up and paste it over here, and it is going to download the diffusion pipe for you. I'll just clear it and expand it a little bit just to show you what is going on. So if I just ls, we will have a diffusion pipe over here. We will navigate by saying cd diffusion pipe. So you can change the directory by that. If you again ls, you will have all of this. We need to install the requirements. For that, you can say pip install -r requirements.txt and hit enter. Now until it is downloading, we will set up the configurations and all. So the supported models, you can come down just over here, and it is going to show you the models it support to fine tune. Now we are going to fine tune WAN 2.1. So for that, we need to download it from here, the link they provided. Now, as I said, I'll be doing WAN 2.1 T2B 1.3 billion. You can also do 14 billion from their page, so you can download it from here. I will just go with 1.3 billion, go back to files and version. I'll just go back to the ComfyUI, VS Code over here, and I'm going to create a directory. So there is already a directory models. I'm going to cd models, and I'm going to download all of these files from Hugging Face directly to over here by using Hugging Face CLI. So for that, we will need Hugging Face CLI. For that, there is a command pip install -u Hugging Face hub CLI and hit enter. Now for downloading all the models, we will create a new directory with the name of WAN 2.1-1.3 billion, or you can name it whatever you want. You can create a new directory easily by right clicking on the models, or just clicking this folder and name it. Now for downloading, you can say Hugging Face CLI download WAN-AI, which is what we copied from here, WAN-AI. And you can give the local directory where we want to download it, which will be WAN 2.1 1.3 billion, which we just created, and hit enter. And just like that, it is going to download all the models in this directory. Now we will upload the dataset which we just created. I'll again go back to Diffusion-Pipe by saying cd Diffusion-Pipe. I'll clear the screen. Now over here, I'm going to create a new directory by saying mkdir data. Now I'll cd data, and if I ls, there is nothing. I'll create another two directories which will be output, and I'll create another directory which will be input. Now if I show you over here, we will have data, input and output directory. You can also do it manually using the mouse cursor by creating a new file and folder, but I just prefer this way. Now inside this input, we are going to drag and drop all the files, or you can right click here and upload. Now just select all of these files and hit open, and it's going to upload all of your files over here. Let's go to examples and Hunyan video. Let's open this, and as well as dataset.toml. Let's update first few things in the dataset.toml. So if you just have a look at the first over here, this will be the resolution on which you want to fine tune or create the LoRa for. I'll just leave it 512 by 512. And if you want to create the LoRa on multiple resolutions, you can define by giving separating it by the comma. Now if you come below, you'll have a directory section. Now over here, this is where our dataset path have to be defined. So inside the data, here's the input. Just right click on it and copy the path. Just replace this path with this and paste over here. So our dataset inside the workspace, Diffusion-Pipe data and input, and that's it. You are good to go with the dataset.toml file. Go to the GitHub page which I shared, and if you go to the supported model documentation, it is going to take you here. And if you scroll all the below down, just copy all of it from here, the model section, and we go back to the VS Code. Go to Diffusion-Pipe, go to examples, go to hunyanvideo.toml. I'm just going to copy it and paste it, and I'm going to rename it. Let's just rename it WAN video and hit enter. Now if you go below, I'm going to create it smaller. If you go below to the model part which we just copied, and just going to replace all of this over here. Now inside this model, just we need to change the path to the checkpoint to the models to over here. Just copy the path and paste it over here. So where we just downloaded the models by using Hugging Face CLI, and rest of the things we will just leave it as it is. Now one more thing you would like to change is the output directory where the models are going to be saved. Remember, we created a directory with the name of data, and inside the input we have our dataset, and inside the output we will store our trained models. I'm just going to copy the path and paste it over here. And for the dataset, we already have inside the examples dataset.toml, so we are good to go. Now there are some other settings you can change. So for how many epochs you want to train it, I will, let's say, train for 100 epochs. 100 would be a big number, but still we are going to let it train for 100 epochs. Now there is another number I would want you to change, which is save every n epochs. So it is going to save after 2 epochs, which is a lot early, I would say, and it is going to, by the 30 epochs, it is going to save 15 different version of your LoRa, which is of no use. For that, I would say 10 or 8 would be a good number. You can set your preferred values and make sure Command S to save or Control S to save it. Now with this, we are good to go. We need to run the command to train it, and that's all. Just cd dot dot, make sure you are in the Diffusion-Pipe here, and we go back to the Diffusion-Pipe GitHub repository. If you get below, you will have the training command here. Go back to the VS Code, paste the command here, and make sure you change this Hunyan video to WAN video.toml, which we just created in the examples, and rest of the things will going to remain the same, and hit enter. Okay, we got a no module named high video error. So for the resolution of that error, we are going to search on Google for installing high video. So I found this, and I will leave the command in down description, or I will leave the link to this page. You just have to pip install from the GitHub. Just copy this command, go back to the terminal and paste the command over here, and hit enter and let it run. Now I'll just again copy the same command for training from the GitHub page. Just copy it, go back to the VS Code and paste the command over here, and then hit enter. And cool, after some time it started training, and now we are at step 160. I let it train for 10-20 epochs, then we'll show you the result. All right, if you go back to the outputs directory here, you will see that it is going to start saving the model. And if I just show you the file, it has saved the epoch 10, and now we are, I think, around epoch 16 or 20. Now let's try running this in ComfyUI. Now since we used the ComfyUI template on RunPod, we already have ComfyUI installed. We just say cd ComfyUI. So for running, I'll just say python main.py and hit enter, and we have the URL here. Just click on it. You have to hold the command key. And hit on it, and it's going to open another window, which is ComfyUI. Now this one is a little bit older version of ComfyUI. Let's just update it. Click on manager, click on update ComfyUI, and it's going to start updating. Now until it is updating, let's go back to the VS Code. I'm just going to copy the epoch 10 for a moment. So we just need to copy the adapter model and the adapter config. Let's create another terminal and cd ComfyUI. I'll just show you how to do this with the command line ComfyUI models, and in the LoRa directory, I just need to copy this adapter model. Just have to right click on it, copy the path, just say cp command cp, and paste the path here and hit enter. That's it. If I show you ls, we have this. I'll just also copy this JSON thing. Just copy the path, copy path, cp to copy, paste the URL, then dot and / and hit enter. If I ls, you'll see that we have it over here. I'll just rename it real quick. There is also a command for that. You can say mv and just copy the adapter model.save tensor, just paste it here, and whatever name you want to give, I'll just give it epoch 10.save tensors and hit enter. If I ls, you'll see we have it over here. Now we need to download the text encoder model and the diffusion model. I already created a video just to show you how to download the WAN video, how to set up the ComfyUI with the WAN video. You can watch it. I will leave the video in the I button, but I'll just show you real quick how you can do so. We will need to download the diffusion model. Just can say cd diffusion models, and this is the ComfyUI example page. I will leave it in down comment section. Just open it and copy whatever model you want to download. I'll go with the bf16. Copy the download link, go back to ComfyUI, VS Code, and say wget and paste the link here. That's it. Now ComfyUI has been updated. We'll restart the page. Yep. Let's go back to the VS Code, just see if it is downloaded. Let's create another terminal just to download the text encoder. Let's go back to the ComfyUI example. We will download this text encoder. We will go with E4M3. Just copy the download link, go back to VS Code, cd ComfyUI models text encoder, and say wget and paste the link here and hit enter. While it is downloading both the models, let's create another terminal just to download the VAE. Let's say cd ComfyUI models and VAE. Let's go back to the examples, open it another page, copy the download link, go back to the VS Code and say wget paste and hit enter. That's it. That's how you download the models. That's how you correctly set up the WAN 2.1 in ComfyUI. Let it download the model and then I'll get back to you. So we downloaded the diffusion model. I'll close this terminal as well. Let's just wait for the text encoder to be downloaded. All right, we have downloaded the text encoder as well, and the ComfyUI is running. Let's restart the ComfyUI. All right, now we need the workflow. For the workflow, there is the workflow in JSON format. Just copy it, go back to ComfyUI over here, hit Command V to paste it. But this workflow is the common text to video workflow. Also, there is a missing node. We'll click on Manager, install missing custom nodes. I think for the resolution of it, it is better to close this, go back to the VS Code, hit Ctrl C to stop it running, then again run it by python main.py so that it can fully load, restart everything instead of just reloading the page. Let's command and click on this, or control and click on the link, and let it download, let it open the ComfyUI for you. Okay, here we are. But the problem with this workflow is that it is text to video workflow. We need the support for the LoRa over here. So for that, we can use LoRa loader model only. Just click on it. And here is our epoch 10 epoch. We will give the model here and give the model here. And for the prompt, remember we used a trigger word which is PA2AN. I will use a similar fashion to write the prompt. Is in red turban, is wearing white shirt and blue, is walking towards the camera. That's it. Let's try to run this prompt. For this, you can hit command return, or you can click on Q. Now, since we are using a pod with a lot of GPU memory, so that's why we are able to train as well as run the ComfyUI at the same time. If I just go back to the diffusion pipe in the output just to see how many epochs it trained on, so we are on epoch 20. It is already saved. So after this result, we will see how the epoch 20 is performed. Until it is running, let me show you how you can again copy epoch 20 to the LoRa's folder. The process will be similar. Let's create another terminal, clicking on plus, hit write cd ComfyUI models, then LoRa's, and hit enter. If I ls, we already have epoch 10. I will go to epoch 20 over here, then .save tensor file, copy the path of it, and then you can say cp, paste it over here, then give space, and with the name whatever you want to save it, I'll say epoch 20.save tensors and hit enter. Now if I ls, you will see that we have epoch 20 over here, and if I go back, you'll be able to select it, but you need to refresh the page. And yep, it is kind of getting close to me. I think I'll refresh the page, leave page. I will select the epoch 20 and rerun the same prompt. Okay, I will say that it is getting better, and do note that this is 1.3 billion model, and the dataset was not that good, and the prompt quality was also not that good. The purpose of this video was to show you how you can set up the dataset, set up the correct file structure, how to set up the RunPod, how to fine-tune the WAN 2.1 in short. Now I'll let it run for some more epochs, some more steps, and then we will see how the result improves. Just a quick update, we have already trained for 30 epochs. Let's try this model real quick. You can similarly copy the path, go back to the terminal, make sure you are in the ComfyUI model LoRa's. You can say cp, I'll say epoch 30.save tensors and hit enter. Then go back to ComfyUI, reload the page, and I'll select the epoch 30 from here. But this time I'm going to change the prompt a little bit, and I'll just hit command and return, command and enter. Let's see how the epoch 30 performs. I would definitely say that it is getting closer, and I am really excited for the result, and I will let it run. And I am definitely telling you that it is getting closer to me. I will let it run for at least 50 epochs. I'll get back to you when it reaches 50. So I just stopped the training at around 1500 steps, which is resulted in 60 epochs, and for the 60th epoch it generated this video. I would recommend you to give your best to the dataset. Just give as much time as possible to the dataset. Give as much time as possible to the prompts. Don't forget to give the trigger word as well. I tried my best to show you how to set up the dataset, how to put the files, how to fine tune by using Diffusion-Pipe. Still, if you got any queries, let me know in the comment section. I'll try my best to solve it. So I would end this video over here. We'll see you in the next one.